Hello everyone, welcome back to the Code House. Today I'm going to be showing you something that we haven't looked at before. It is actually something in the back-end section of web development, so probably you have not encountered this, or more specifically, you haven't seen it in our channel. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Before we do that, please subscribe, turn on notifications, and like the video, and also share the video with people who would benefit from it. So before I actually do coding using our code editor, what I'm going to do is go to Node.js .org and express.js.com. So these are both websites, and they are the websites of the languages. So Node.js is a language, a backend language that we're going to use in order to create the server. Express is a fast, unopinionated, minimalist web framework for Node.js, and it helps us use Node much easier. So let's go ahead and actually start looking at their docs. So Node.js has a documentation page, and there's tons of documentation. Currently I'm on Node 12, I think. Let me see. So the way you can actually look at your version of Node is Node-V. No, Node-V, I think. Yeah, version 12.18.3. So I'm on version 12, and there is, of course, much newer versions. I'm not going to actually update my version yet, so you can actually use version 15. There's not going to be much of a difference, so you should be good to go following this video. And, so you can use Node.js for lots of things, such as creating files, routing, and things like that. We're going to be using Express to help us in routing, so that's why we're going to use it. And you might say that Node is not a language because it's a framework, but it does have a bit of other syntax that we're going to use that Node does not. But it's pretty much a web framework for Node.js. And when it says fast, unopinionated, and minimalist, what it means that, so usually when people say web frameworks or frameworks, they mean the framework has control. And you have to actually follow it, and that's the difference between a framework and a library. So a minimalist web framework means they just have the minimum amount of control that they actually need. So without further talking, let's go ahead and create our server. So first thing I did was open up Visual Studio Code, which is a code editor, as I said before, and you just want to click on this File Explorer icon and then open a folder, because it says you have not yet opened a folder. And I'm going to be opening a folder right here, okay? And then it should have this page like this, and now you can see all your files that's inside your folder. So we're going to go ahead and create a new file, and this is going to be called, actually how about we make a new folder called backend, and then inside this backend folder I'll create a file called app.js. So app.js is the conventional name for most Node.js, so for the Node.js routing file that you're going to use, and we're going to name it like that as well. So app.js has quite a few things that we're going to need, but before we do that, we want to install Node on, Express, use Express inside our project, right? And if you go here to Express's docs, you say it says npm install express-save. So we're using npm node package manager, and you can actually go to npm's docs, because npm, not Elasticsearch. npm stands for node package manager, and something that here you can actually click it to see different attributions of it. and we're going to go ahead and search for Express, because it is an npm package. So you can see right here there is a sort of demo that you can look at, and you need Node.js 0.10 or higher, and you just need to use the npm install command. So if you don't have npm, which you should have if you're using VS Code, which is why I recommend it, if you don't have it, go ahead and I don't know how you're going to use it with your code editor, so I'm just acquainted with how VS Code allows you to use npm right away, so that's why I'm using VS Code. So once you've figured that out, you can just go to your terminal, and the way you open up your terminal is Control J, so Control J, and that should toggle up this small sort of bar, bottom bar, which you can use. And one thing inside has Windows PowerShell. So you may have the command prompt, which you'll need to change in your settings to make it Windows PowerShell. And then once you've done that, you should be good to go. So what I'm going to do next is use npm, okay, which is a shorthand for install -- save or install, okay, npm install express. Now you'll see it's installing it, and be careful about where you're placing your where you're actually typing in that npm command, okay. Okay, I see. So okay, we need to actually get rid of this. Yeah, I made a mistake. We're going to do modules as well. What we need to do is first create a package.json. So what we need to do is npm uninstall express. Let's see if it is there. It may give us an error. Okay, so what we need to do is go to our app.js, and that's what we're going to do inside our main folder. Actually, we'll just go to our backend folder to do it. So cd backend. Okay, now we're in the backend directory inside our main folder, and then what we're going to do is install. But before we do that, we are going to create a package.json. So npm init will create will walk you through the steps of creating a package.json file. So package name, description, package for backend. Entry point is going to be app.js. Test command is going to be nothing. Git repository note. Keywords note, and author will be whatever your name is. Obviously, it doesn't really matter. Okay, and we can click yes. Okay, so now hopefully it does create us a package.json, which has quite a few JSON key value pairs, which is basically what we've just typed in while we created the package.json using npm init. So now we can go ahead and install express, npm I express. Okay, and while that loads, we're going to take our first look at express and node. So if we go here to an npm, you see right here it says const express equals require express, const app equals express, which is exactly what we're going to do. So the first thing that we're going to do is const express equals require, and what require is, it's basically like import if you used Python and things like that, and it just imports this for you. So require is used whenever we want to require a module that we have, and that's what we're doing right here. And then we have a app constant, which is going to be a functional form of our express express variable or constant. And then once you have done that, you should have the express setup basically. And then the next thing that we need to do is create a port for us to listen to. So app.listen, and let's take a look at how we use app.listen. So app.listen, and the way that we're going to do this is obviously we're not going to use process.emd.port, which is if we're actually doing it online or something, or if we're using a .env file to create our port. We're just going to use a default one, which is I'm going to use 63342 because currently I'm creating a different project which is running on localhost 3000, so on port 3000, so that's why I'm going to use 63342 as my port. Obviously you can use 3000 if you want to, and if you're not already using that port. So right here you see app.listen port, okay, and then there's a function which gives us this, which is going to basically create our connection, our server connection to the browser. So this is a really exciting part once we've done this. So app.listen 3000, okay. Now what we're going to do is just console.log, and sorry, not 3000, 63342, forgot that. And then console.log port is listening, port server is listening. Okay, and once we've done that, hopefully we can just go to localhost 3000 in order to see it. But before we do this, we need to actually create our first route. So we need to do app.listen, app.get. So this is our first routing, okay? And then we're going to pass in the request and response. And that's the callback. And then what we're going to do is just res.send. You've reached me. Okay. So now I'm just gonna walk you through to over what just happened. So over here we're importing our port. Express. Then right here what we're doing is app.get. So app.get is there's also app.post. Okay, so this is saying that when somebody makes a request, a GET request to localhost 63342 / then what we're going to do is send them back, you have reached me, just plain text. Okay, and then in here we're just listening at port 63342, and then if it works, we're going to start logging server is listening. So go ahead and open up your terminal, and then what you want to do is type in node app.js, and we have console.log server is listening. So this means that we're listening for this at this port. And now what we can do, really awesome part, go ahead and type in localhost 63342 or whatever port that you've typed in. Okay, you've reached me. Okay, and if you try something else, so / I'm not here, it's not going to be here. It says cannot get I'm not here / I'm not here. But the reason that we can get this is because localhost 63342 is equal to localhost 63342 /. So essentially what we've just gone to, okay, is https localhost 63342 /. Okay, and then there's nothing after the slash, which means that we are actually getting app.get slash. Alright, now we're done with this. We need to actually get a HTML page over here. So what we need to do is actually create an HTML file, which we're going to then route and send from our backend, which is something that's really important once we start using Node as our backend language for creating websites. So go ahead and create a folder inside your inside the same directory that app.js is in, and call it views. You need to call it views, okay? And then inside views, go ahead and create home.html. Okay. Actually, how about we don't create home.html? We'll just use our home.html that I created in my last video. So I'm going to take this home.html and this home.css and put them in my views. Okay. Actually, send this file to the from the backend to the front end, and then the browser can actually request that from this port. So let's go ahead and get that in implementation. So first thing we need to do is use something called app.use. Okay, and the use method allows you to give a view engine. Okay, let's see, is that exactly how we're supposed to do it? So this is for EJS. That is the templating language that we're going to use, and obviously we're not going to actually use EJS. We're just going to name our files EJS. In the end, it's actually just going to be a pure HTML page. So what we need to do is go ahead, view engine, and then we need to make it EJS. Okay, view engine EJS. Now you may think that there's going to be a problem because we don't have EJS installed on our project. So what we need to do, and you would be correct if you assume that, because what we need to do is install that as well. So npm I EJS, which is another package, stands for embedded JavaScript. Alright, and there we go. And now let's go ahead and just open and make our file, open up our server again so that it's listening. Okay, requires a middleware function, but got a, okay, so we'll look at that later. Let's just take a look at app.use view engine EJS. Okay, and now we need to actually set app.set view engine, so not app.use, app.set. And now if we run node app.js, its server is listening. So obviously when we reach here, it's just going to send you've reached me. The next thing we need to do is a pretty simple way of rendering our files. So what we need to do is res.render, okay, and this is used to render an an EJS file, okay, because we're using we're setting our view engine to EJS. So res.render, what we're going to call this is home.ht. We're going to change this to home.ejs, rename, and there's going to be no difference to, you can see the logo is HTML5 still. And now what we just need to do is just type in home, because by default EJS looks in, Express looks in the views directory if you're using EJS, and then whatever you're using there is what's going to be rendered. So we don't need to type in home.ejs, just need to call it home. Okay, and you need to actually shut down your server and run it back again. Start it up, refresh the page, and voila, we've currently rendered a static web page basically using our backend and our routing. So that's really cool. One thing you may notice is that we're not able to get the linking to the CSS file properly because it doesn't look that proper. If you look up on the console, it says refuse to apply style from home.css because its MIME type is not a supported style sheet MIME type, and strict MIME type checking is enabled. So you can change that in the back end. Actually, you need to change your style, sort of some method and everything. We're not going to look at that because this is all about backend routing and functions, and this is the basics of Node.js servers and functions. So I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope you understood what all of this is, and if you didn't understand, please don't worry. Go ahead and watch other videos on Node.js and Express, and once you're actually familiar with Node and Express, come back and watch this video to learn how to create a Node.js server. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe, turn on notifications, and like the video. Please share the video with friends and family, and that is it. Bye for now.